There was an attempt to make a podcast, and this is the attempt number 9. I can't believe I have already made 8 episodes. But wait a second, I believe I have already made an episode which will be filmed and edited later. So I believe, future me, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is episode 10. I can't believe that this is episode 10, that it's going to be just audio and random footage of different things while I'm just here talking in the microphone, and afterwards I'm going to edit this. So one more time, back into the topic. There was an attempt to make a podcast about the child-free lifestyle and the child-free people and the child-free way of life. And this is the episode, one more time, future me, correct me if I'm wrong, episode 10. Isn't that amazing? Hopefully this will offend some fools that will be shocked that somebody dares to live the life that they want, totally free of responsibilities and totally free of things that decisions that make you have silence, money, and endless time off. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the following question that goes: why are you child-free besides silence, money, and free time? Huh? Why are you child-free besides silence, money, and free time? And first, this person posts this question in the child-free Reddit thread. And of course, naturally, this person proceeds to start their post with the following text, which hopefully I'm going to edit afterwards. And he goes: I know we basically can all agree that our peace of mind, disposable income, and freedom are the main reasons why we're child-free. But why are you personally child-free? Alright? Why are you personally child-free? I personally have maybe 7 different mental disorders. Thanks, mom and dad. And could never feel okay with myself if when I pass those down to my children. At least half of them would very much be passed down. Living how I live with my shitty mental health isn't something I could ever live with if I gave that to my child. So, besides the obvious reasons, that's a huge personal reason for me. A little bit of a water break. A little bit of a water break. I have to say that this person is highly self-aware, because to be suffering from this sort of problems and to be able to notice it, be self-aware, and state and declare that you don't want this type of flawed genetics to be passed to your offspring makes you, ironically, most likely more capable to have kids rather than the people that choose to have children just for the sake of having children. Alright, yeah, ironically, people that don't want to have kids because they are self-aware and aware of the terrible situation and the economy that we have going on right now. I believe and strongly feel that this type of people definitely, ironically, would be more capable of dealing with the adventures and misadventures, fortunes and misfortunes of fatherhood. With that out of the way, let's move on to the reason number... Oh shoot. After reading the main the main text that OP wrote, let's move on to the reply number 1. This one that says, the only real answer that matters for me personally. Because I don't want to. But here are others I also hold personally. Number 1, because I choose my own freedom. Number 2, because in the history of the world, the women in my family have never had a chance to live as I do. Reason number 3, because I know it's the path to becoming the fullest version of myself. 4, because I'm here to make change, not just absorb it. Next, because I lost count, because I am authoring a life story, not looking to be defined by my role in a relationship. Next, because my relationships already provide everything I need as a human being. And final reason, because there are a billion necessary ways to care for the next generations without personally making another person, alright? Without personally making another person. That was the reason those were all the reasons that this reply mentions. And I have to say that, yeah, the number 2 is definitely the most important. I am not even a woman, but I can have empathy, enough empathy, and I can be understanding enough to declare and state that I'm so glad my nieces and also my aunt, well, my nieces especially, have the possibility to choose whatever the fuck they want to do with their lives. I have one niece whose father is a recalcitrating, scorching, Christian-loving, notice the sarcasm, Christian. A God-fearing Christian, whose personality basically it's Christian love, which is nothing but sarcasm and code to say that he's a terrible person who just practices the religion in order to have some sort of mental pass to justify his insanity, alright? So anyway, I'm so glad that my nieces have the possibility to do whatever the fuck they want with their lives. The other reason that I like a lot is, they say that the relationships provide everything they need. So if they choose to remain child-free, bring it on, queen, you're slaying. That was the reply number 1. Let's move on to reply number 2. In the reply number 2, there is this person that says, I'm gonna close that one, and says, I don't want to suffer and sacrifice for other people. I don't want to suffer and sacrifice for other people. Even if that person came out of my vagina. It's my life and I have a right to live it for myself. It is expected that the parent does everything they can for their child. However, you gotta be a little selfish sometimes. You gotta be a little selfish sometimes. One more time, sometimes. Especially when it's about your boundaries and not letting others take advantage of you. Yeah. That was the reply number 2. Let's move on to number 3. And I have to say that this is very short, straight to the point, and like a big fuck you and a big middle finger to the people that don't accept this. I just don't want to be a mom. Short, concise, simple. Why not? This is perfect. Keep it like that. In other news, what else do we have? Oh yeah, I just don't want to be a mom. This would be the perfect trigger for idiots with podcasts. Not like me, but other idiots with podcasts that call themselves an alpha male on a podcast bro. For example, this despicable idiot, who happens to be black, but that's irrelevant. This stupid idiot that replied to a woman that was invited to his podcast that was like, he asked something about kids. And she's like, I don't want to have kids. And he's like, how come? Why not? That's what you was. That was you was here designed to do. Really? You was. Motherfucker, I'm a bilingual person, and it triggers me the fact that you are butchering the language that you are supposed to be speaking like a native speaker, which frankly means that you are a lazy, a mentally and intellectually lazy idiot that apart from that happens to be an arrogant prick that does not view women as a person and that views them as apparently cattle and livestock. Motherfucker, I can't believe you would say you was here designed to do. The mentality is not the only thing that triggers me, but the fact that you say you was. Isn't it supposed to be I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, what's next? We were, you were, and they were? Hijo de tu perra madre, y se supone que yo soy el bilingüe y los que a veces hablamos dos lenguas lo hablamos bien mal. Motherfucker, I'm supposed to be the bilingual one, and we bilinguals are supposed to sometimes be speaking broken English, because that means that we speak other languages. I speak English because it's the language. It's the second language I speak. You speak English because it's the only language you know, and you happen to speak it incorrectly, grammatically incorrectly. But not just that, but you're a prick that views women as only, what do you call that? Breathers, alright? As a vagina, you don't see women as a person, but as a As a, what do you call it? As a biological vessel for as an incubator for new kids to be born. How despicable, how stupid, how ridiculous. I hope that bad things happen to you. Curable things that can be solved and for which a solution can be provided, but I hope you suffer. I hope that stupidity that you have be reflected in your life, and when you are suffering because you are self-victimizing, it hurts more. Because one more time, the fact that you say, that's what you was here designed to do. No, it's not. They choose what they want. They get to choose to do whatever the fuck they want. Oh my god. I believe this might sound a little bit prejudiced and bigoted, but I promise you, it's not that. And if you wanna call me a bigot, bring it on, babe. I have been called worse things by better people and worse people. By best people, by people better than me. However, I will not be concerned by whatever people worse than me call me. Alright? And trust me, rest assured, I'm not a bigot. Besides, if you speak a second language, I will take you double time seriously. But anyway, with that information out of the way, let's move on to the place number 4. Oh, and before I move out, that mistake I said, which is, one more time, that's what you was here designed to do, which triggers me obviously as a bilingual person that speaks Spanish as a first language, English as second, and a couple others with a little bit, such as Italian and German. Don't worry, because both blacks and whites, monolingual blacks and whites, American monolinguals, black American monolinguals, and white American monolinguals can be equally stupid, because what I said was by an English-speaking black. But the other thing I've heard is countless white people that speak in an accent. The accent is what matters the least, what doesn't matter at all. What matters is the fact that natives say things like, I don't hear nothing. Again, motherfucker, isn't it supposed to be, I don't hear anything? Isn't it supposed to be, I hear nothing? Oh my god. Once again, I'm a bilingual person, but that's besides the point. Please don't pay attention to that, and instead criticize whatever I'm saying in this audio, which I'm putting out there for everyone to criticize as freely as their freedom of speech allows, alright? You can say whatever you want, but you're not free of consequences. That's what everyone needs to remember, alright? Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. So here, this video will be uploaded to my channel, so I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want, however I want. Which brings us to the reply number 4 that says, disinterest in parenting. I'm just not interested. It's not really deeper than that. Long list of things I'd rather do. Perfect. There's my pet peeve. Another thing that bothers me very much is the fact that these people writing in Reddit do not use punctuation. God damn it, they do not use punctuation. Which is nothing at all like the reply that is coming right now, which is number 5. It says, I don't want the responsibility, especially if the child has any kind of disability. Saying that does not make you 100% heartless and ableist. Yes, it does sound ableist. It does sound like you have a prejudice. However, you not wanting this responsibility ironically makes you self-conscious, self-aware, and responsible enough not to do this type of thing. That's the argument I want. I don't want the responsibilities. I want my Fridays to continue to be off. Alright? I want my Fridays to continue to be off. I want to give the very little money I make in this work, at any job, I want to give that money to my beloved, adored mom whenever I can. Alright, with that information, let's move on to number 6, which is also straight up and quite short, because it says, I fucking hate children. Other people reply by saying something like, oh yeah, this. I hate the screaming, the crying, the being a little shit to animals and people, the grossness, etc. I don't care if they're learning how to be humans or whatever. Hey, saying that you hate children makes you ironically more reliable than any person that says, I love children. Yeah, I'll trust someone that hates children more, not to take care of them, but that I know that even if they hate children, they are less likely to hurt them. Oh yeah. Anyway, Let's continue, because now I have a couple other replies that I would love to read here and that I would love to make this whole audio about. Alright, the last reply I read was the number 6 with one sub reply. Oh yeah, another person mentions an instance, a situation that looks like gaslighting, but I don't know, but I think I disagree. I think it is. Even if someone saying it may not realize it. I told my therapist that I hate children a few weeks ago. She said, "Oh, you don't hate children." Even my therapist doesn't believe me. The fact that you're having a therapist makes you more ironically, more prepared to have children. Even if I'm being ironical, of course. Then the next person says something like, "Having a child would make me unhappy. This is wonderful. This is great." Wow. Reply number 7. 6-7. That stupid trend. Anyway, let's continue with this part that goes, "Having a child would make me unhappy, especially if they are unwanted," right? This is why, what do you call it? Contraceptives need to be financed, enforced, endorsed, because you do not reduce abortions by demonizing it, but by enhancing ways to prevent it. And what are the ways? Education at school, politeness and manners at home, and contraceptives to prevent mistakes that end up calling you dad, mom, or dad. Sounds horrible, and I do not apologize for saying it that way, but because it's true. A mistake can end up calling you mom and dad, and you don't want it. You don't want it, and it's okay. You don't want it, and it's okay. With that information out of the way, let's move on to reply number 8. This reply number 8 goes, sorry. My life is for me to enjoy. That's it, and that's all. Super good, super simple. Why not? Keep it like that. Sometimes I wish the answers were longer, but those short ones are quite easy. Honestly. Let's move on to number 9. Reply number 9 says something like, let me take a look. Oh yeah, there's many replies to this one, and this one says, "I have tocophobia, fear of pregnancy and childbirth. I get sick to my stomach even thinking about something growing inside of me." I suppose that germaphobes can have that fear because they have germs, bacteria, and viruses on their hands, especially when they don't wash them. And the fact that they have parasites in their digestive systems, like tapeworms, it's disgusting. But yeah, I'm not a woman, and I feel like it could be body horror just to describe pregnancy symptoms in a descriptive, figurative way enough so that it sounds gross. This one says, alright, the next one says, absolutely this. I'm actually surprised how much this one gets overlooked when people talk about women choosing not to have children. Like, why does everyone expect me to risk so much of my health by default just to have a kid? If it were easier, if the economy were better, and if, and if the economy were better, and if overpopulation wasn't that big of an issue, we would definitely be having a couple more kids. Besides, inflation is killing everything because costs are rising, everything is more expensive, but the salaries are not rising, so hell no. Get the heck out of here with this pathetic rhetoric. Fuck. Anyway, with this information, let's continue. After reading all this, here's another reply that I like because it's longer. This person says, "For real, the more I learn about it, the more horrified I got by the concept. There is no world in which I would voluntarily put myself through something that can make my teeth and hair fall out, keep me awake all night due to discomfort, make me sweat like a pig, get lightning pains in my vagina, and something called the Ring of Fire, which everyone acts like it's no big deal. And I don't know how that's possible given that it's said about something happening to your vagina, literally called The Ring of Fire. God damn it. I have to admit that this is rather frightening. This is rather scary. Fuck. Oh no. No. I'm not doing that. Ever. I'm not doing that at all. So anyway, let's move on to the next topic, because the next reply, it's gonna be quite short. And it says, I cannot be responsible for a human life. Hey, being self-aware of how messed up and how fucked up everything in your life is and how fucked up you are mentally, again, makes you ironically more capable than many people having kids just for the sake of having kids. No, thank you. I don't want anyone else's living in my house. Super short, why not? That was super short, and that was the reply number 11. Yeah, sometimes it can get lonely, however, it's better to be lonely and with money than having company that makes you feel lonely. And sometimes a child can be just that. This one is gonna be good because this is short. And the one afterwards, it's gonna be even longer. Reply number 12. The reply number 12 goes like this, and it says, it started off as simply as not wanting to give birth, which is perfectly fine, and was my only reason for the longest time. Then, in my early 30s, it snowballed from there into a pages-long list of reasons why I'm child-free. Ha! How about that? How beautiful, how fantastic is that? Anyway, the next one is gonna be really long, and frankly, I'm down for it because this will be something quite long and on which I can give a longer opinion. It's always pleasant to read the sort of opinions that they may be different, but they are basically different mindsets, and they are not actively hurting others, unlike other political mindsets that involve hating others just for the sake of finding a scapegoat. For example, hating a minority for whatever stupid reasons that the people in charge made up. With that out of the way, this is the perfect reply number 13. 13 like Friday 13. Today is not Friday 13. Today is Friday the 8th. So with that information, let's continue. Let's find out the rest. It says, I found being a child and just growing up excruciating and humiliating. It says, I was miserable and bullied my whole school life. I'm emotionally damaged from how I was raised, and I have absolutely no interest in repeating that or inflicting that on someone else, on anyone else. I know that I wouldn't cope, and that it would only bring me pain and anxiety and debilitating sense of worthlessness. I won't be responsible for anyone else's suffering. Worthlessness. How about that? I like that word, worthlessness. Worthlessness. Oh my god. I'm interested in this type of words because it's funny how with the English language you can make a couple words with suffixes and prefixes. Speaking of lessonness. Hey you, artificial intelligence. Hello. Please give me words that feature at their end both the suffixes less and ness. Thanks. According to the artificial intelligence, words like this exist, and they go aimlessness, carelessness, endlessness, fearlessness, helplessness, hopelessness, meaninglessness, powerlessness, restlessness, speechlessness, tastelessness, uselessness, worthlessness. How beautiful is that? But anyway, let's move on to the number 2 in the same, written by the same person, and it says, I'm vegan and I have no interest in dropping my values just because I reproduce. Do you have any idea how many times I have met people who said, oh, I used to be vegan and vegetarian until I had kids. It's just too hard. You see, I actually think humanity as a whole is pure garbage, and we all have done and all we have done is completely fuck this planet, fuck each other up, and commit absolute horrendous cruelty and atrocities against animals and other humans. So yeah, I'm not creating more of my pathetic and repulsive race. I was expecting you to say that you are vegan and since babies need protein that is obtained from meat, you were not willing to have a child if that meant you were going to give up your vegan lifestyle. Your vegan lifestyle. If it's a decision, good. But if it's because you're allergic to meat, then that's a good reason to be vegan. Because in fact, I have met a vegan, a very nice one, who told me that she was vegan not only because of a decision she made to lead this lifestyle, but also due to the fact that she is allergic to some components. She's allergic to some proteins found in meat. So what does she do? She found a couple of she found a couple of food items, vegetables and fruits, and other animal origin foods items that provide her with protein, but it's not meat. Something along these lines. With that information, number 3, and it goes capitalism. Capitalism. Fuck capitalism and the overconsumption of this society. It goes, I'm so happy to report that there will never be a jumbo bag of disposable nappies in my shopping trolley each week, those of which will continue to outlive generation after generation following them, along with the mountain of other junk you accrue with a family. No thanks, I like to live low waste. Yeah, low waste, because it's inevitable to waste considering the lifestyle that everyone is leading. However, you can choose to waste very few things. I have absolutely no interest in spending my weekends at school sport or birthday parties, or spending any time with each other with other asshole parents who think their mediocre children are God's gift. No one is special and we all suck, honestly. You gotta be very careful. No, you gotta be very specific as to what makes a child special, because Roald Dahl, the author of Matilda and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, at the beginning of Matilda, he roasts kids for very valid reasons, such as a child that is totally unintelligent, and that he hopes they have some family business into which they can get him because he will never get a job anywhere else. Or another girl who it's funny, another girl who has no hearing organs at all, because she's basically nothing like some beautiful insects that basically have the perfect organs and they are in their abdomen. However, this girl Vanessa, fictional name by the way, doesn't have any hearing organs at all. With that information, let's move on. Oh yeah, those kids that Roald Dahl described are not special. They are just loved by their parents, which is frankly okay. Come on, even if you disagree and even if you don't like people that have children and you disagree with people that have kids, at least be glad that those kids that come into existing into this world are born to loving parents, kind of, that at least are there present in their lives. Moving on to the next part that says, my family repeatedly tell me I'm negative and selfish. I just think I'm realistic. I'm not selfish. I work in healthcare, I rescue animals, I donate money to animal charity, and I volunteer in bush regeneration. I made a garden and dedicated it to creating habitat for wildlife. What did my siblings do? They collectively bred 11 children into the world. But I'm the selfish one. Once again, how dare you live the life they would have liked. With that information, this was beautiful. I love this type of long answers, honestly. I love this type of long answers. Because honestly, this is the type of things that take a long time to read and also are well written. Let's not forget that they are all well written. They are all well written and they provide long, concise long, concise, and cohesive, concise arguments. Alright? The number 14 says, I don't like the idea of giving a man that much power over me. Yeah, you can have a child. That's another problem. You don't always end with a good guy because you are either too gullible and naive, or because the guy with whom you end up hides his malice and his malevolence too goddamn well with a mask of charisma and confidence. Even if it's fake, it's attractive. And that's what people complaining that why girls prefer bad boys. It's not that they like bad boys. They like people that have self-confidence, even if it's fake. And the bad boys have this self-confidence, which is why sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. Have confidence even if it's exaggerated, keeping your feet on the ground, of course. Keeping your feet on the ground, of course. If you hear some background, it's because I turn on some AC. Let's move on. Reply number 15, and it says, I have bipolar. I suppose that you mean that you are bipolar, alright? You are bipolar. I am bipolar, and I could not care for a child if I was in an episode. Can't go off my meds to get pregnant. Body dysphoria around getting pregnant, and married to someone who doesn't want kids. Bingo! You hit the jackpot, my dear. You hit the jackpot. But even if all those things weren't there and weren't true, I still wouldn't want kids because I can barely afford my own habits. True. Everything is expensive while everyone makes very little money. Salaries don't go up. Let's move on to the next one. I usually read 20 replies here, and I believe this will not be the exception, right? Reply number 16. It says, the longer I live, the more I start feeling like it's immoral to bring someone new into this world. And you're telling me I love this person more than myself? I'd be worried, understatement, every single second of every day. No thanks. No thanks. That was the reply number 17. Oh, that was the reply number 17. Let's move on to reply number... No, that was reply 16, sorry. That was reply 16. So let's move on to reply number 17, reply number 18, reply number 19, and reply number 20. Alright? And that's how we're going to finish this audio that afterwards I'm going to place into a goddamn... many footages of different things. So, reply number 17 says... Reply number 17 says, I've spent my entire life caring for pets. Where are you? I spend my entire life caring for pets, and as much as I love my fur babies, I'm sick of having to take care of someone besides myself. Pets are totally different, and so many people made the terrible mistake of humanizing their pets, dressing them up like little tiny baby humans, and that's not 100% okay. But what really grinds my gears and make me disgusted and frightened in a way that, what the fuck is your problem? It's like, why are you putting your dog a diaper? Are you effing kidding me? No, a dog is not a human. Do not humanize them. Do not anthropomorphize them. Am I pronouncing this word right? Let me check. Anthropomorphize. Let's find out. Please Google how do you pronounce this word. If you are humanizing your pet, your dog or cat, and if you're treating it like a baby, a human baby, it's not good. You love them, you take care of them, they're your fur babies. Of course they are. I have a cat and I love her, but I do not dress her up like a human. I let her be a cat, while also I do my best to be a responsible owner. Anthropomorphize? Is that how you pronounce it? Anthropomorphizar. Oh, Dios mío. Even in Spanish it's difficult. How do you pronounce? Do it. Anthropomorphize. Damn it. And in Spanish?
Antropomorfizado.
That was Portuguese. Sorry. No, Spanish, goddammit. In Spanish, how would you pronounce it? That's me writing with a typewriter.
Antropomorfizado.
Antropomorfizado. How about that? A couple more. We have now a total of 34 minutes of footage. And we read the number 18. No, 17. Let's go to number 18 and it goes. The idea of parenting alone is super unappealing to me, and I find the idea of having a whole human being permanently tied to me and my choices a little horrific and overwhelming. Yeah, there's no guarantee that your son or daughter, your child, be born and they end up loving you or caring about you. There is the die rolling that may come out a number. There may come out a number, and this number does not put the odds in your favor, figuratively speaking. What if your child is born with a disability? If it's born to you like that, you are the parent, you chose to have this baby, this child, so it's your responsibility to have this child, alright? What else? There is a short answer right here that says, I simply dislike these tiny little humans. And it goes like that. I simply dislike them. The last reply over here is a rather quick one. Actually, I like this because this is a long one, and with this answer I'm going to close it. And it goes, I actually sort of like kids, but I have no interest in raising iPad kids. It feels illegal to raise kids the way I was raised, where they walk from home from school, and you turn them loose between the hours of 4 and 8 p.m. And all day in the summer to make friends and raise themselves. Now you're expected to spend thousands every year on specialized camps that they won't even enjoy because they'll be too busy on TikTok. And if you swear you won't be one of those parents who raises their kids with electronics, be prepared for all the resentment that comes from your kid being the only one not allowed to have an iPhone at the age of 8. I said iPhone 8, but in reality it was again. Let us read that part again. If you swear you won't be one of those parents who raises their kids with electronics, be prepared for all the resentment that comes from your kid being the only one not allowed to have an iPhone at age 8. How about that? I disagree. It's all about balance in life, alright? Sure, my kid can have a phone to do certain things, but sometimes we're gonna go to the park and you're gonna play physically with other kids or with yourself. Alone by yourself, because you're basically like lions. Lions need to play, elephants need to play, baby zebras, baby giraffes, all the baby animals have to play in order to get ready for the outside world. And humans are social animals. This means that we need to learn how to make social interactions so that in the future, when we are adults, we are able to function and act and behave like polite, well-mannered members of society, because it is important for us to interact with other kids and play physically in the playground, running, playing tag, hide and seek, and stuff like that. Alright? And sure, let us be grateful that we have our mini computers, our cell phones at the hand's reach. Yeah. Because, yeah, sure, if my child is alone, hardly I wouldn't let that happen. Sure, an iPhone can come in handy for certain things. For example, call the emergency number 911, 112, or whatever phone number that you have in your country. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's move on. As for me, my own reasons would be where you child-free besides silence, money, and free time. No, those are the reasons. Travel, being able to travel to whatever I want. These last 4 Fridays, I have been enjoying the action of going to the waterfalls of a beautiful river that is like an hour and a half, no, 50 minutes away from my main city where I live, alright? And I enjoy that so much, and if I had a kid, I wouldn't be able to do that. And frankly, blessed be the fact that I'm able to do all the things I want, whenever I want, however they want, wherever they want, whatever I want, using my own money and my own time off. And even better, I can invite someone along. If somebody says yes. Oh my. Anyway, we're gonna stop there. Thank you very much.